Okay, so brief introduction. Where were we now?
Yeah.
Well, as I was saying, we were broken down on the side of the road, and I hitchhiked back to the Grand Canyon Village. Hired a tow truck from the only repair shop there was, and the tow truck pulled us back to the Grand Canyon Village, and we checked into the Bright Angel Lodge.
You think that's still there?
Yep.
Oh, that's
Yeah?
very
That's
popular.
very
Oh,
very
okay.
popular. We see it on YouTube all the time.
Oh, good.
But the little house we stayed in is past the Angel Lodge. You know, where the donkeys go down to the canyon, that's where we stayed. So-
Anyway,
house.
okay, we checked in there and they said they would fix the van, okay?
But then all our harp and good was in that van. So all what he took out was the paperwork.
All of your what was in?
All our harp and good.
Oh,
all our
your whole life.
Our
yeah,
possessions.
yeah. All what we could take from the house, you know.
No, I had a bag with our paperwork, you know,
Paperwork.
paper stuff. And that's we took along of the other
And the
stuff.
checkbooks were important.
And the money and the certificates and stuff like that. So we
And
slept there and they
Hopefully we took out the basket full of toys, too. Because we needed those
I
at the
don't think
hotel.
we took, no, I don't think we took those.
Okay.
I don't think we took those. We just took necessary stuff so we could change clothes. And I didn't have enough sleepers for you, but your sleepers from that place where we stayed was dirty floor, you know, with the sand and everything. They were black. I think after we got to our destination, I think I cut off the feet, you know, so just swim away.
So they told us that they'd get an axle moved in there by bus,
Not by bus, by a little airplane came.
and they said it would be fixed in a day or two. Oh, so we stayed, and in a day or two we went back to the shop and they said, well,
They sent another axle. It wasn't the
the
right
axle
one.
came but it didn't fit. So we ordered another one, and they said it would be here tomorrow on the bus. They put it on a bus from Flagstaff, I guess, you know. So we said, okay, then we
4 days went by. And
anyway, we walked along the Grand Canyon every day. We had to walk. We had no transportation. And we saw the same sights and we fed the squirrels. You guys had fun, kind of. And every morning we watched right behind where this was the main lodge, Bright Angel Lodge, and they had little cabins all over in the woods kind of set. And we rented one of those cabins. And every morning they assembled the mule trains there that would go down into the canyon, you know, down in.
so you had fun.
And we watched that. That was
Every
interesting.
morning. They're coming,
Yeah.
you know. So
And down in the canyon there was a phantom ranches down there
Phantom Ranch,
in the
yeah.
bottom of the canyon. And so we were talking to some people and all that. But 4 days went by. Every day I went there and they said, they sent the wrong axle. Tomorrow we'll have another one. And it should fit. See, this van was from Canada. The VIN numbers, I don't know if they had VIN.
metric.
They had no VIN numbers and maybe they just couldn't match it to an axle. After 4 days went by, it got kind of expensive, you know, the very expensive place to stay. So we said, and I called my friend Bob in El Toro.
Because they were waiting for us.
Yeah, they were sure, they expected us.
Yeah.
So we decided to take the necessary clothes that we needed and go on a bus and ride the bus to Los Angeles.
And take the axle along.
Leave the van there, but take the axle along in a package.
They had it wrapped up in a carpet.
And then the bus driver said, how in the heck did you get in here? Because we only had a ticket going out, you know.
Uh-huh.
So that was funny. And when we arrived here, everything was brown, and I said, boy, did they have a fire. You know,
So all of us got on a bus?
all of us got
All
on
of
a
us
bus.
got on
Okay.
the bus, and we rode for about 8 hours on the bus
And then
to Los Angeles.
and Bob picked us up, you know, and took us to El Toro. So that's where we stayed.
The van was still there in Grand Canyon. We were in El Toro, and then Bob and I went around the junkyards and took
With
the axle
the
along.
axle.
Mhm.
And we found an axle that was exactly the same. We measured it. Exactly the same. And then the following weekend,
Thanksgiving weekend.
that was Thanksgiving weekend, huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
So now it's 2 weeks into your trip.
yeah.
2 weeks since you left.
Then Bob and Bobby and I in Bob's Volkswagen, we rode back to the Grand Canyon. Now that's an 8-hour trip
With the axle.
with the new axle, not new, but the one we bought. We drove back to the Grand Canyon, delivered the axle to the repair shop. They said they would install it, and then we had all day to spend. And they had never been to the Grand Canyon, so we went sightseeing. After an 8-hour drive, we went sightseeing all day long along the Grand Canyon. Then we picked up the van with the new axle installed, and then we set out on our trip all the way home another 8 hours without any sleep. And
That was the
I
most
don't know how.
dangerous thing we had to do.
I don't know how we did it, but we were young and foolish. Yeah, we drove all the way home.
And you made it home
Ready-
without incident,
Ready for Thanksgiving dinner.
ready for Thanksgiving
Got
dinner.
home. We got home late on Thanksgiving, and so finally our trip was over for the time being. Anyway.
And then they all crashed. Oh, Bobby
Not
was
bad.
sleeping in the car.
Oh yeah, he was only about what 10.
Yeah. I think he was in the van with you, wasn't he? And sleeping
Oh yeah,
in the van.
he had the back
He had
space
the space where Dad put you to.
where you were,
So
and that was
he
big
crashed.
enough to sleep, you know.
Originally, when you planned this trip out, how many days was the drive?
Well, 5 days was supposed to be.
5 days, and then it ended up being about 2 weeks until the van got
Yeah,
home.
but in between we
Yeah.
just waited.
We
you know.
had
Yeah.
a good time on Angel Lodge, feeding all the squirrels and the chipmunks.
I see documentaries now on YouTube and on TV and PBS channels. That's still there, Bright Angel Lodge, and they're still riding the mule trains from there going down in the Grand
Yeah, and
Canyon.
then all the questions Janet had. How do they know to stay on that little pass? Because it was only a tiny little pass. You know,
Would you trust a mule?
to go down that little pass, you know. So that was
Well, that's a good story. Thank you for telling it.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
one more thing.
okay, one more thing.
When we were on the way about in Missouri someplace,
Oh yeah, I remember what you're saying. Yeah.
do you want to tell it?
No, you go ahead.
Well, we stopped
For gas.
We stopped in a motel and we went into a restaurant for dinner, and we sat there and we ordered our stuff, and we talked to the waitress and so. And when we were sitting there and we were all by ourselves, Janet said, "You know what? They all talk like Gomer Pyle here." That was so funny.
Did she
Everybody
say that?
talks like Gomer Pyle.
Yeah,
She said that in front of the waitress?
Ja, ja, Gas haben wir geholt, die ihn so geschwitzt. Dann sind wir zum Restaurant und die ihn so geschwitzt, you know. So that was it, you know. They all talk like Gomer Pyle.
I mean, she was 8, but
Yeah.
she noticed that, and Gomer Pyle was a very popular TV program.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
at that time.
Everybody knows who that is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how we arrived in California.
Great
Yeah.
story. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
You're welcome.